Hey folks, I've been selling a lot of guitars as gifts because it's the Christmas and holiday season. Sometimes the people that come over are buying them and they're not musicians. They're buying them for a spouse or a child, one of their kids or a nephew or something like that. And there's always a certain anxiety when they walk through the door. They don't know anything about instruments. They may or may not have read up on the particular model they're coming to look at. It's quite rare, but some of them do try to do a bit of research since we do live in the age of information. And then there are some that, of course, bring somebody who can play, or perhaps the dad can play a few chords and they can assess the instrument for their child or for their relative with a bit of experience. But I just want to do a video on buying gift guitars. Now, be aware, even though I am a Craigslist/Facebook marketplace seller, 95% of the people that sell on those sites are not luthiers or even particularly musicians. They're often selling unwanted or unplayed or older guitars that are sitting around. Therefore, they need work. They're going to need work. I'm the only guy in my area, the only person in my area that I know of that actually sets up and does a full luthier setup on everything that I sell. So for instance, when I sell a guitar, I've been through this before, I take care of the action, I go through the interior, I clean up the frets, level the frets, dress the frets, address any nut issues, tuning issues, replacement parts. Sometimes I upgrade nuts and saddles to bone or graphite. Stuff like that, most people, local sellers, are not going to do. So be aware that if you buy locally, chances are that you're going to have to take that guitar to a shop and have it adjusted. And most shops will charge you $50 plus just to set up or adjust a guitar. That's a base price. A lot of shops are going to charge more than that. However, if you buy on Amazon and eBay, you're also going to have to, a lot of the time, get a setup done on that guitar, because most guitars that are sold on Amazon per se are drop shipped from factories or warehouses. They don't go through the guitars before they ship them out. They may have had some minor factory setup, but most guitars that you buy, they'll come with sharp fret ends, they'll come with high action, or the action's not quite right, or they need a truss rod adjustment. Trust me, I get them, dozens of them a month, and they always need some sort of work. Guys on eBay that are selling are often no different from your junk sellers, your thrift store sellers, your flea market sellers. They don't know music. They don't know how to set up a guitar. They just advertise it, take pictures, and ship it to you, and then you're going to have to set the guitar up or have it set up when you get it. Now, that's not to say that it happens 100% of the time. There are people like me that do some work on their guitars and set them up. And if you can find someone like that, if you can buy it already set up, then of course it's much easier to buy a gift that way. If you're going to buy a guitar from a local person, there are some things that you need to know about buying a gift. First of all, always have the guitar played. If you can't take a player with you, or the person selling it doesn't play, pick up the guitar anyway and do this. Just do it. Make sure the guitar rings. Make sure there are not any odd noises or anything like that. Press a few notes. Even just hold one finger down across a whole bar and play it. Make the guitar sound. I get so many people who are going to buy a guitar and they don't do anything to it. I'm like, wait a minute, let me play it for you. Let me give you a little bit of a tinker on it so you know that it plays. You're going to get in trouble buying a guitar that you've never heard a sound from, particularly if it's for a gift. Now, when you buy from a shop, a lot of times they have return policies. So, of course, if you buy a gift for somebody and they don't like it, or there's something wrong with that particular guitar, you can exercise the return policy, say through Guitar Center or your local guitar or string shop. So that's one way of doing it. However, not all guitar centers or corporate music shops, instrument shops, have really good guitar techs. So even if you're buying from Guitar Center, you still may buy a guitar that needs setup work. It's not a guarantee that the people working in that shop know how to do a good setup. I've run into this so many times. I've gone into guitar centers, pulled guitars off the wall that are very poorly set up or not set up at all. And they do have techs in some of those places, and some of them are proficient and some of them are minimal. But again, you're not guaranteed a guitar in perfect setup, even buying it from a retail shop. So there are some things that you might want to do. First of all, intonate or play the guitar, make it ring, make sure it sounds like a guitar, that there are not any strange buzzes or vibrations. If there are, chances are there's something wrong with the neck, or you've got a crack or a brace loose or something like that. If it doesn't sound right, trust your intuition. There's probably something that needs work on. Secondly, use your eyes. Hold the guitar close up to your face and look it over for cracks or separations or seams coming apart or cracks between the fretboard and the body, or cracks or gaps between the neck foot and the body. Look it over all the way, front and back. Make sure that you look at the end where the strap button is. A lot of times guitars crack right here if the strap buttons aren't put in right. Look at the back. Make sure there are no cracks or seams coming apart. Look very carefully at the neck. A lot of guitars that have issues will have perfect bodies, but they have problems with the neck. First of all, this is called the neck heel. This is where the neck joins the body of the guitar. A lot of times you'll have a crack right across here or somewhere across this piece of wood or a series of pieces of woods right here. If there is a crack, then the guitar is compromised and it's not going to be able to handle the string pressure put on the neck. Another area that's often a problem is right here. Sometimes you will see what we call a volute, other times you won't. You'll just see where the neck joins the headstock. This is actually the weakest part of any guitar. This is where it's most likely to break, especially with some sort of fall or trauma. A lot of times you'll see cracks or fissures or the guitar coming apart between the neck, the neck binding here and the actual neck itself. Look that over. Make sure there are no issues there. Look at the headstock. Make sure there are no cracks going right across the holes where the tuners come in all the way to the edges of the headstock. That can be an issue. Trust me, I've had headstocks fall apart on me because of unaddressed cracks going on. Turn the tuners. Make sure that they work. Even if you don't play the guitar, just turn them. Make sure that they turn the string or wind the string. Don't turn them too much, but turn them enough to be able to ascertain that they work. Lastly, take the guitar like this. It's easier to take it this way than the other way. You can do it both ways, but just look down the line of the neck with your eye. Close one eye, sight the guitar as we call it, or sight the neck on both sides. And it should either be straight or have a very slight relief, upward curve, very slight. If it's got a curve going the other way, then you've got a back bow guitar that still could be corrected and fixed, but you're probably not going to be able to do that yourself, and that's going to take a trip to the store to remedy that. So those are just some tips. If you're buying a guitar for a gift, try to buy from somebody who knows what they're doing, or somebody who sets up guitars, whether that's a shop or a person. If you can take somebody with you who can play a bit or knows a bit about instruments, that's better too. If you're stuck just buying from your experience of looking at it and playing it, then remember to do those things that I told you. Look over the body, all right? Shake the guitar. Make sure there's no rattling or braces loose. You can even just kind of knock the guitar, and if there's a brace loose, you'll often hear a sort of a more hollow thud where there is a crack between the brace inside and the top of the guitar. You can do that with the back as well. You should get sort of a uniform sound as you go around, okay? If you hear like a really radically different sort of thud, or you hear a double knock, chances are there's a brace that's come away from the back, and you're hearing your fist hit the guitar, but you're also hearing then the back of the guitar hitting the brace. So those are things, even if you don't know anything about musical guitars, those are some things you can do if you're buying a guitar, particularly for a gift. Look at the guitar, make sure there's nothing loose in the guitar, look it over all the way, cracks, separations, and then lastly, look down the neck and make sure that it's not badly warped from side to side, or it has a deep curve going one way or the other, that is straight with a very slight depression in the middle, what we call relief, to make sure it's okay. You can check the string heights also to see that it's between 3 and 5 millimeters at the 12th fret, between the bottom of the fret and the top of the fret and the bottom of the string. Obviously, you might check through all those things and decide the guitar's okay, and you still might need to do some setup on the guitar to get it playing right. But if you've gone through all those sort of visual checks on a guitar, it's probably going to cost you less, or there's less chance of you having to do anything too serious on the guitar. You might get lucky. You might get a good playing guitar. I mean, some people just buy a guitar with intending to play it, never play it, and then they're selling a new guitar on the used market, which is a perfectly good guitar. Happens a lot. So I'm not saying that everything that you find used or you go to buy locally is going to need work. Chances are that it will, but every once in a while you do get a nice clean guitar that lives up to the listing that somebody put in writing on the ad. So that happens a lot too, but I just want to give you some tips on being discerning about buying a guitar, particularly if you're buying it for a gift. I always advertise mine as gift quality around the holiday season. Some sellers will do that, others won't. But maybe if somebody's taken the time to explain the guitar in the ad and give you a good idea of the condition of the guitar, that they're a much more reliable and knowledgeable seller. So look at that too. When you're reading the ad, does it appear like the person selling that guitar knows what they're talking about? Are they telling you the model number? Are they telling you what woods it's made out of? Are they telling you the condition of the guitar? Or are they just saying guitar and nothing else? Chances are that if somebody is if somebody has a listing that is vague, chances are they have no idea what they're selling, and it's going to be a guitar with issues. So there are some tips on buying a guitar as a gift. Good luck to you. Just remember, trust your instincts. It's the most important thing you have. All right, see you next time.